You need a Kleenex?
No, okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not running. It's just my nose.
Okay, we're still recording and we can hear this.
I know. I was like, I know we already hit record. That's fine. Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I gotta compose myself.
Don't laugh, JM. It's a serious business.
I know.
Actually.
All right.
Take 5.
Everybody, J.M. Manion here at the NPC Photo Gym, and I'm here with the former Daraja Hill, and I'm not even going to try to tell you what her new name is.
You know, I actually want to hear you try and say it one time. Come on. You always put everybody else on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot. I said it once already.
You said it once. I didn't retain it because you said you were going to say
Come on. It's Weidemoyer.
Weidemoyer.
Yes.
Maybe the only time I get it right.
That was perfect. Daraja Weidemoyer.
All right. So if you haven't figured out, she got married.
I did. I got married in October 30th, and it was wonderful.
Now, was it a regular wedding or did you dress up in Halloween costumes?
I actually did get to wear a costume, but I wore an actual wedding gown for my wedding. But I did already think of fun Halloween-themed parties for anniversary parties to throw because I love costumes in Halloween. So that'll be down the line. But I was Buzz Lightyear and he was Woody for Halloween, so that was fun.
Would have been more fun if you walked down the aisle like that.
That would have been a treat for our guests for sure. But I think we would have had everyone dress up then.
Yeah, that would have been interesting for sure.
Yeah.
So it's going to be easy to remember because you put it by a holiday.
Yes, and it was unintentional. It just kind of worked out like that. But I do love that time of year, and I love Halloween. So I'm excited to have an excuse to throw fun Halloween parties.
There you go. Anniversary and Halloween parties. You're all invited.
Don't put my business out there like that. Invite only. You have to have.
Kind of like getting to the gym, invite only.
Exactly. Special guest list.
Okay.
Yeah. Close friends and family.
All right. So that means I won't be invited.
JM. Of course you got, as long as Debbie comes. You can't, if Debbie's not there, then.
That's it.
Bye. Yeah. The gate is closed.
Don't get the security code, nothing, right?
No. Sorry.
Okay.
She's the password.
That's easy.
As long as you bring her. Don't forget.
Okay. All right. So here we are doing another road to the Olympia. Yes. How you feeling?
I am, we've had some carbs the last couple of days, so I feel good. But most of all, just excited. Every time I come here, I feel like I'm in a different phase of my journey as a competitor and as an athlete. And so it always just means something special in a different way. So I'm really excited to be back. And it's in Vegas this year, which I've never been to the Olympia in Vegas, even as a spectator. So to get to go and experience Vegas Olympia, the Olympia, is going to be a very cool experience.
Yeah, it just seems to me that Vegas, because it has been there since 1999. Mm-hmm. And before that, if you don't know, the Olympia used to move every year to a different city. They tried to make it different cities around the world, but sometimes it just didn't work out right.
That has to be a lot to plan, too, moving that around. That's a big event. And it's grown a lot since then.
Well, I remember one year, this was back in the 80s, they had it in Helsinki. So they had it in a hockey arena where we had the prejudging. They had to tear the stage down. They played a hockey game, then rebuild the stage for the finals.
That's too much. That's a lot.
And it was very, very cold there. There was like snow up to your knees.
Oh, so Vegas works.
Vegas works really well.
Florida's not bad either, though. Florida's not bad.
Right.
I didn't mind the Orlando Olympia.
But it's just it's kind of like the glitz and glamour of being back in Vegas. It's on the Strip for the first time because it used to be at the Orleans, which is like 10 blocks back, in a hockey arena.
Right, right, yeah. So, and I keep hearing so many things about how amazing the stage is going to be. Dan keeps saying how amazing it's going to be. A lot of the promoters are just, I think they're pulling a lot of tricks out of their hat that they haven't tried yet. So I'm excited.
Well, I've been to the Zappos Theater many times. Debbie and I have gone out there to go see a bunch of residencies of different artists and concerts and things. And it's a theater that's built for entertainment.
So then that's probably going to be a lot better for the spectators then too. Better seating, better views. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, everything. I mean, the sight lines the sight lines, everything is just so much better.
It's going to be something special.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what they do for the Olympia stage there. Because like I said, I've seen all these other concerts there.
That's probably a big kick in my butt to like want to make it to the night show, making sure I'm doing everything I can, because my first Olympia, I did not make it to finals. And I just remember like seeing the stage and just wishing like, I want my butt to be up on that stage. So I'm excited to hopefully make it back for another finals.
So what she's saying is the prejudging was at the expo. So there's an expo stage where it is. And then the finals are which will now be the Zappos Theater.
Very grand.
Yeah. In Orlando, they had the next door is where they had I said the stage reminded me of something you would have seen at the Ultra Music Festival.
It was incredible. I mean, the lighting and everything, the LED screens, it was very, very cool. It was very cool.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be the biggest Olympia ever as minus competitors.
Crazy. It's 70-something bikini pros.
I'm pretty sure that's what the final count is when you add in the points winners also.
And I mean, not even just the numbers, but the talent that's going to be in this year's lineup. I think to me, last year was a very competitive Bikini Olympia, but I think this year we have some former champions that are coming back that didn't compete last year. Janet's coming back. You have Laura Lee, who's probably one of the favorites for the title. Jen Dory is coming back to defend her title. Ashley Kay, it's going to be a deep lineup.
I mean, India Paulino, as she had previously stated, when she was competing, she was 5 consecutive years in the top 5.
Yeah, she came back this year looking incredible. So it's going to be very cool to see what she brings to the stage for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's what? So there's Jen, there's Ashley, there's Issa, and Janet. So 4 Olympia champions in the contest.
Bring it. Bring it on.
I mean, it's going to make it exciting. I don't think any other division has that many Olympia champions in it.
I don't think so. Even as a competitor, I mean, that's my competition, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds. Definitely. And throw my name in the hat.
Which hat is that? Buzz Lightyear?
Buzz doesn't wear a hat.
He wears a helmet.
Close enough. We can throw it in Woody's hat. But no, I think I've had my share of getting on stage to see what happens. And I think now that vision's become a lot more clear, and I'm definitely working on becoming, Miss Bikini Olympia. So that's this year. Then that'd be fantastic. I mean,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and I'd love to shake it up. I'd love to shake things up for sure.
I know I see these people handicapping in each division who they think the first call out's going to be. Mm-hmm. My thing is, and I don't even know, I mean, considering that Tyler judges, but I don't think they're just going to go with 5. I'm predicting there's 8 or 10 in the first call out.
I think so, especially with how deep this lineup is. I don't think they're going to get away with a smaller call out. I think they're going to have to call out.
And then they'll move everybody around.
Yeah.
Now you'll have your comparisons as you come out in groups.
Right.
And then you'll do your individuals, but I'm talking about the actual real.
They're going to want to see certain people next to each other and then kind of move us around and see what does this person look like next to this person and compare. And it's going to be, I have a feeling we're going to be up there for a while.
I do too. I think if it happens is if there's a call out with those 4 Olympia champions together.
That's going to be.
I don't think they've ever all stood next to each other on a stage like that.
I think they might just have to do that just because, So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, then slot some other competitors in between them, see what it looks like.
I volunteer.
Okay. You heard that. She's volunteering.
Yes, I volunteer as tribute for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many scenarios with this thing.
Absolutely. And I think bikini is still a pretty dynamic division as far as defining what that look is going to be. Obviously we have the criteria, but I think a lot of the even current champions or defending champions, they all fit that category very well in their own way. So it's going to be like who's perfect of the perfection, it's gonna be, I wouldn't want to be a judge.
No, I wouldn't either. And, as you know, I tried to get as many competitors in the Pittsburgh Pro this past year to kind of make it like a precursor towards the Olympia. So you got a little preview then, but I think everybody's improved since then because the ones that have come through here.
Definitely. I think everyone knows we're like, it's like this, so no one's sleeping on anybody, I don't think, at this point. And you can't. You have to, I think, keep in your mind that you're outworking your competition always. Otherwise, you get comfortable.
Right. And as we know, Issa, Ashley, and Janet are all looking for that additional Olympia.
Yes.
Jen's defending it.
Yep. It's going to be a nail-biter. Get your popcorn ready.
Get the big tub because it's going to be a while.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night.
Well, that's just like you can pretty much go through every division. I mean, and I know that a lot of people are talking about the Mr. Olympia with everybody, especially with Derek coming into the Open and things like that.
Gosh, yeah. Lots of conversation, which I think is awesome. The kind of conversation it's making. And you have you have a few other competitors like Nick and Hunter that are coming up that are definitely, I think claiming their spot. And there's a lot in every division. I think I'm excited to even being backstage with those other competitors and being in the presence of like just those physiques it's just something else you have to see in person.
Right. I mean, and let's jump to figure. Is Sid going to, maintain?
I mean, she just exudes that in her entire being, though. So I think it's not just the fact that she has such an incredible physique. I think it's everything that she is. Like, she just is that. And it's hard to imitate. You can't copy that. So it's going to take something special to come and knock her out for sure.
Yeah, Andrea Shaw. Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting because, Sid does her posing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's, I think, and Sid's posing is just like butter and it flows. So
let's just call it's flawless.
It's flawless. It's absolutely flawless. I mean, I even watch it sometimes to like work on my own flow and my own posing, and I'm not even a figure competitor. So you just...
She makes it look so easy.
She does. And she's really fun to watch.
Yeah. And fitness is going to be interesting. I mean, we saw that Whitney had to withdraw.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But I mean, you have Missy Truscott who's coming in, I think, as definitely a favorite. I've had some nice conversations with her. She's very sweet. So I'm rooting for her for sure. And it's going to be, I love fitness. It's one of my favorite categories to watch.
Yeah, me too. The routines are just out of this world.
I mean, just another thing you have to just see. I mean, to get as lean as we get and to hold on to that muscle, but for them to also do a choreographed routine with all of the flips and acrobats and maintain that flexibility, it's beyond impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely a great fun division.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, there's wellness.
I'm very excited. I was just talking with Brittany about how excited I am to see the wellness division, because you have Issa, who's the Arnold champion, and then Francielle, who's coming back to defend her title. You have a few others, Yarishna, who's, I think, always to me such a stunning contender. So I'm excited to see her back on stage. I know she's been working hard on improvements. It's just a gorgeous division.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with the competitors, and I know a lot of them are from Brazil. We know that, but it's not a Brazilian division.
No, it's a body type division. You either have that or you don't. Honestly. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, it's not going to be a cakewalk for Francielle.
Oh no, never. I mean, I don't think any champion, assumes it's going to be a cakewalk either, but definitely, I think there are some physiques that can compare to hers and pretty closely, but I will say I'm a huge fan of her physique. I love the way that it flows. And I think when I think of a wellness physique, and even though it's not necessarily balanced from top to bottom, she looks balanced. And I think that's...
She's in line with the criteria.
Yes. And it's very impressive to see. I mean, just in person, obviously, I was walking around with her backstage, and it's just like, wow.
I first saw her as an amateur in the Arnold Amateur Brazil.
Oh, and it was...
Before she won the Arnold Amateur in the USA.
She won in the USA, and I remember seeing her, and I was like, like, who is that? Like, she's stunning too, but her physique is incredible.
Yeah, I say that she's the gold standard.
I have to agree. I will agree. I mean, just objective opinion, I love her.
Yeah, for being the first wellness Olympia champion, I mean, I think that was just the right
definition. Great definition of the category.
I like when people go, well, the criteria has changed. No, it hasn't. I go, look at our champions, Isa and Francielli. That's the look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's consistent. It is consistent. And I think I don't know how it would have panned out if Francielli had done the Arnold, but I have a feeling she would have won that one. So she's going to be a tough one to beat. She's going to be tough to beat.
But I think now, jumping back to bikini, I mean, as we talked about, everybody in the contest, except for the points winners, have won a contest or more. Several have won several contests this year.
Yes. Yep. Lots of champions. I think everyone in that top call out has won at least one show this year, if not 2 or 3. So you just can't, it's always in the back of my mind that everyone is just on it. And so I have to be on it because I want to see myself in that. And that, I jumped from 14th to 6th. So I'm hoping for another fun leap. If I do the math correctly, first place is within that range. So
it's in striking distance.
It is in striking distance. It's in striking distance. And I've done this, the entire prep this year. I've been focusing on closing that gap for myself. I think I always think back to Tampa Pro 2019 when I got second to Isa ahead of Jen and Laura Lee. Even when I am feeling like I'm missing something, I remind myself like I'm in that conversation. I'm in that realm. So, because competitors, we all have our moments of doubt. And so that medal hangs up in front of my treadmill as a reminder that I'm up there and I have what it takes.
So it's the dangling carrot, right?
It is a dangling carrot, and it looks really tasty. I just want to grab it. So
you're deep into your prep right now, so anything looks tasty.
Yeah. There's nothing in here. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna back up for a few minutes because I've asked this question in pretty much every interview with Bikini. Okay, so you talked about how competitors have won multiple shows. Mm-hmm. Why is it that nobody complains about them, but they complain about Ashley? I get it. She's automatically qualified for life with her Bikini Olympia champion. But I mean, my opinion is if you don't want to go up against the best, if she's in a contest, I'm measuring myself against her, right?
I can understand the frustration, but I don't see it that way. Like, I agree with you. I remember my second pro show, I was excited to get next to her and I beat her. The champions, like, they're not unbeatable. And I think sometimes it's an easy way to convince yourself that it's an easy way to not give it your all, because then you're like, oh, well, she's doing the show, then I'm already out. I'm not going to win. There's no chance for me. And then it's easy for you to, give less than your best or do less than your best because you have that excuse. I think no matter who's showing up, you go at it the same way, you look at the show the same way. And if you want to be up there, you have to want to crave that competition and see where you compare. If you want to take it at that level and not see it so much as, I don't know, but.
I said, Isa came up and did 2 contests this year. Nobody complained about her, and she's qualified for life, and she won both of her contests.
Yeah, but she also had, the number of shows she's done versus Ashley is not.
Well, it's a little harder coming from Brazil, but yeah. I look at it this way. You are a pro athlete. You want to compete. What I remind people is she was an athlete her entire life. She was a D1 track and field athlete. Yeah. So she's always used to competing. Yeah. But I said, why does no other division, like if other people do contests, they don't complain about it. It's just a bikini division. My thought is, if you can't beat her at this contest, what do you think you're going to do against her at the Olympia?
That's how I look at it. So that's why it's an easy question for me to answer. But like I said, I can understand the frustration, especially if you're a newer competitor and you don't quite you haven't quite got your footing yet, and maybe you're getting there and she shows up and you feel like she took your spot. I could see the frustration, getting close and then being like, well, if she wasn't there, then I would have done so and so. But I think you'd have to figure out how you're going to either cope with that or quit.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and at the Olympia, you're going to have to go through quite a few other competitors to even be.
Exactly. It's not just Ashley. I mean, if you say, I want to make it to the Olympia, I want to be a pro champion, I want to be a competitive IFBB pro, but you're afraid to get on stage with X, Y, and Z competitor, I think you have to take a minute and kind of like figure out what that says about you and take it from there. Because it's honestly, at the end of the day, it's not about them. If you're really that pissed off about her beating you, then beat her next time.
Well, as I say, she was the defending Pittsburgh pro champion and she didn't win.
Yeah. So.
And she's even said she's never had an undefeated season in her entire career from NPC through the pro league.
No, she hasn't. I mean, I will say my winning that show against her, my first year as a pro, was I needed that for sure for me, for up here. But it does remind me, I still think back to that when I do have my like moments of doubt where I'm like, do I really have it? But, there have been other competitors that have beaten her. I think I try not to take it personal. I'm like, that's her journey. That's what she wants to do. That's cool. If that might make a different outcome for me for this show, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, and Ashley knew coming into Pittsburgh, besides her, she knew that Janet was going to be there.
Exactly.
She knew Laura Lee was going to be there.
But she didn't say she wasn't going to do the show.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we had, we had 2 Bikini Olympia champions and 5 Arnold champions in the Pittsburgh.
It was stacked as stacked can get, for sure. I think anybody could have probably looked at that lineup and been like, yikes, I'm out.
I know somebody made a comment to me. They're like, hey, this third call out's a first call out in another contest.
Yeah. It was not a normal show by any means.
Nothing's normal in Pittsburgh.
No, not at all. But again, going back to Tampa, I mean, when I heard Laura Lee was doing it, Jen Dory was doing it, Issa was doing it, I was excited to get on stage with them. I was like, let's go. Because one, I had just won my qualifications. There was no pressure either, which does help, I will say. But I knew that the next step was not to just win another pro show. It was, okay, where do you stand with these girls? And we found out that day.
Yeah, well, the thing about Daraja, what she's not saying is she still to this day has the record of winning the overall at the largest NPC national level bikini contest ever.
I do, and it feels so good.
Every year when the contest comes up, she texts me, let me know how many girls are in the show.
Yeah, I'm like, keep me posted. And he always gets back to me, you're still good. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, she won the NPC North Americans. It was the largest field ever. In any, that's including nationals, USA, just go down the line.
And I won the whole thing. It's still...
And then what happened after that? You went where?
I went to Hurricane Pro and I won my pro debut. And then I went to Michigan and I won that one. And then I went to the Arnold. And then I went to the Olympia. It's been like this.
That's good. And again, that just goes to prove anything can happen.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody really knew you coming into the North Americans.
No, I did Tampa Pro the 3 weeks before just to get feedback because... that was my second year competing. I had actually learned what I was doing at that point because of my first year, I was like, let me just do this and see how it goes.
When she says Tempo, she's meaning the NPC contest with it.
And the NPC, yes.
Someone's going, wait a minute.
As an amateur, yeah, I won the NPC portion. I won the overall at that one. And then I went to, and Tyler judged me at that show as well. So I got to get in front of him before, which I think, when they see you and make improvements that they ask you to, it helps. But I definitely went into North Americans not expecting anything. I was just wanting to do better than I did at my last national show.
I remember when you came off stage and I told you that this was the largest field of...
And I was looking at you like, uh-huh.
took her about a week to sink in for her.
Oh, well, I mean, if competitors, I know all the competitors, this audience is all competitors, so y'all get me. But show day is so stimulating. So at the very end, and he's telling me this, and I'm just like, I'm so tired. I'm hungry. What is this guy talking about? But it did sink in when I got home, and I got to sit with it for a couple of days. And it's still sometimes it's just like, whoa, like you did.
And that was what year?
That was 2018. No, 2019. Because 2020 Tampa Pro was right? Or 2021. Now I'm getting my timelines mixed up, which I'm very bad at. I'm bad at time recollection, so my apologies.
That's okay, but it just goes to show that your record has withstood for the last 4 years.
For the last 4 years. Wow. Yeah, that was 2019. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Big things.
I forgot how long I've been doing this.
Well, think about when you say how long you've been doing it. Think about it, like I say, when India was here, that she turned pro in 2010.
Oh my gosh, that was before I even knew what competing was.
And you were a baby then.
I was in high school, yeah. I was like 14, 15 years old. I was still playing tennis, didn't know anything about dieting and nutrition. So I feel like I've been doing this for a while. I can imagine. I mean, even, Janet and Ashley have been doing this for a long time too. So.
Yeah, they turned pro in 2012 and 2013.
Gosh, yeah. So here we are in 2022. I almost said 2023.
What's almost?
Almost. Close enough.
Yeah. So is there anybody you want to give a shout out to while you're here?
Of course, my coach, Paul, and Team Pro Physique, because we've been working together for 4 years now, and I've grown in this sport with him. So
no, he understood it when I told him about that you had won that contest.
Yes, because
immediately his eyes went like,
yeah. And I think he's just as proud of that record. So as always, I'm always going to be thankful.
Well, actually, he asked me about it too.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants to keep track. And then, and obviously my husband. I love saying that now. My husband, Keith, because dealing with competitors is a lot at times, and they sacrifice a lot as well as we do. So I'm always thankful and grateful for him. And obviously just my friends and my teammates that support me. And this sport can be lonely, but you can't do it alone. So my sponsors, TLF Apparel, Core Nutritionals, my supplement sponsor, CJ Elite Suits, because she makes the best suits, and she will be backstage at the Olympia this year. I always love seeing her. And yeah, just you guys. Thank you. And thank you, JM.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. So if you want to see Daraja and the rest of the Olympia, go to MrOlympia.com, get your tickets, get your hotel. If you can't make it, get the pay-per-view from there too.
Oh yeah. Throw a watch party. That's what I tell my friends that tell me they can't make it. I'm like, get the pay-per-view, get your popcorn, and enjoy the show. Because I remember watching it not 2 years ago before I made it to the Olympia stage. And it's still amazing to watch, even at home.
So when you're in the lineup, are you a fan or are you in the moment?
I will say my first Olympia, I was somewhat of a fan. Now I'm in the moment. I want to, because even though it's a long day, it goes by like this. And I'm very much about being present and being there and soaking it all in and just taking it for what it is. And I think I have such an interesting energy and vibe going into this Olympia. So it's going to be one where I just want to be there and be me 100%.
All right. Well, this is JM.
This is Daraja.
We will see you all soon at the Olympia. Signing out for NPCNewsOnline.com.
Cut.